I thought we were just camping for the Perseid Meteor Shower, but the sky turned purple and green, and suddenly we were watching the northern lights and shooting stars. Hola, welcome back to withEsme. Today we're camping at Fisherman's Island State Park in Charlevoix, Michigan for what we hoped would be a magical meteor shower camp trip. Spoiler, it turned into so much more. Seriously, the best camp trip of my life.
Big chicken, shack attack.
Driving in, the storm was closing in and everything felt so quiet. All you could really hear was the wind between the trees and the waves crashing on the shore. We pulled into camp as it started drizzling. We set up and started a fire while watching the raindrops hit the ground. Fisherman's Island State Park is huge, over 2,600 acres with 6 miles of shoreline on Lake Michigan. The campsite is super rustic, no electricity, just hand-pumped water and forest all around. Honestly, I love it that way. You wake up with no schedule, no rush, just slow mornings, coffee, and the sound of the lake. If you want to have the best camp trip experience, I highly recommend it. If you plan a trip, make sure to reserve your spot well in advance, especially during celestial events because they book up so fast. If you have any questions about the process to camp here or my experience, make sure you leave a comment below. Our campsite is about 100 feet from the beach. We walked through the trees and hit the shoreline. Lake Michigan was roaring. The waves were crashing like the ocean. The lake is so massive, it even has its own tides. This is early August and the weather was a bit crazy. The air was chilly. We had our hoodies on and the girls were running wild in the sand, twirling around in circles, full on zoomies. It was the best. I absolutely loved it and I know Nami was so happy to be back. This was also Nico's very first time seeing sand and water like this, so it was the cutest thing just watching her explore new things and look back at us. I could tell she was so excited and just didn't know what to do with herself. Our best friends, which you'll see later on, brought us here about 4 years ago for the meteor shower. I was so in awe. I had never seen anything like it. We had such an amazing time. We would wake up in the morning, bathe in the lake, go hiking, and take walks. It was the most perfect camping trip ever. At night, we roasted hot dogs, waited for dark, laid some blankets and chairs down on the beach, and even though the clouds rolled in, the meteor shower still cut through. The Perseid Meteor Shower peaks every August, and if you're on a dark stretch of beach like this, it feels like they're falling just for you. If you camp here, beware of the raccoons. They are literally everywhere and they will get into all of your stuff. The next day, Nami and Nico were curled up at the end of the bed, just waiting for everyone to get up. After cleaning up a giant mess, we made hot tea and went for our early morning beach walk. After an eventful morning, we drove into town. We stopped at a cute little thrift shop near the entrance of the park. We always find such cute stuff when we stop. We also just sat in the lawn relaxing for a while. My brother-in-law took the cutest pictures on his film camera. I placed them throughout this video and I'm definitely gonna have to print them out. They're giving like 90s like mom and dad vibes. I love them so much. If you come for the meteor shower, you'll also catch the Charlevoix Waterfront Art Fair. It happens at the same time every single year, and it's the second oldest juried art fair in all of Michigan. It's been running for about 65 years. Rain or shine, you'll always see so many booths, so much art, ceramics, home goods, and trinkets. One of my favorite places is Otis Pottery, a family-owned ceramic shop. They have such beautiful stuff. This time we got 2 ramen bowls. They have little spots carved out for chopsticks. They're so clever and definitely one of my favorite things that I have at home. I also recommend stopping at Hedge Gardens. It's a little antique shop. They have gifts and a little bit of everything. They also have such gorgeous gardens in the back. We stopped at a little food truck gathering for some beer and a bite to eat before heading back to camp. Even though the water was freezing, I absolutely jumped in to take a bath. After the initial shock, I felt so amazing. I felt like my body and my mind was just cleansed. It's exactly what I needed. Later that evening, I convinced everyone that it was just a short walk to the southern part of the beach. It wasn't. It was 3 miles there and 3 miles back. The sky was so stormy, the clouds were stretched in every shade of blue. That and the lightning made it feel like such an adventure, and to be honest, I was just a little bit scared, but we made it. Seeing the clouds against the crashing waves as we sat in the sand with our friends, it was so beautiful. Out of all of the storms I've sat down to watch, this is definitely one of my favorites. FYI, there are two parts of the campsite, the north and the south. The south is where our friends are staying. It's more set back into the woods, but it is closer to the sandy beach. I personally like to stay at the north campsite just because it's super close to the shoreline. The shoreline there is pebbles, but I love it that way. So definitely when you're here, make sure you drive around and get to know different areas of the campsite. We headed back to camp to cook dinner, relax, and wait for nightfall. I'll never forget, we set up our chairs on the beach and a couple blankets, and we just sat there waiting for meteors. Then suddenly, the sky shifted to a yucky looking gray. We were sitting there yelling, like, for the sky to get it together. And then all of a sudden, we saw what looked like green fog. And then there were streaks of purple cutting through the sky. And just like that, we were watching the northern lights. We laid back in the sand watching the meteors cut through the aurora. I can't explain it. It was one of the most beautiful and craziest things that I have ever witnessed. I feel so incredibly lucky to have had this experience with such amazing people and my pups along for the ride as well. Everything around camp is usually pitch black and kind of scary, at least for me, but this night, even walking to the restrooms, the lights cutting through the trees were so gorgeous and so bright. The next morning, Nico woke up super early, ready for some pets. I want to know what part of this trip you would have loved the most, the starry skies, the wild storms, or the insane lights. On our last day, the sun finally broke through. The lake was so calm, the water was warm, and so many people came out to the beach. We dove in, swam, and let the girls splash around. The best part about being on the lake is that it's fresh water, so we could let them drink it while they played. If you've been here for a little while, you know that the girls are total water babies. Nami actually ended up going in pretty deep until she got scared, but Nico stayed by the edge. She still gets so excited at the little waves splashing around, and she can't get past trying to bite and jump on them. I feel like they loved it so much. I'm already thinking about the next time we're able to bring them up. We had some PB&Js, snacks, and of course some drinks with our friends on the beach. The seagulls were flying overhead, there were some naps in the sand, and of course another and last walk through the forest and the sand dunes. We thoroughly soaked up and enjoyed our full last day. Again, if you camp here, make sure you leave your campsite and explore. There are so many walking trails connecting the camps to the beach or the north and south part of the campsites. So here we are again, watching the sunset and enjoying the warmth of the fire just one more time. It seriously felt like everything just paused for us. It was so perfect. I cannot recommend this hidden gem of a location enough. This trip made me realize that the greatest days aren't always mapped out to the last detail. Those lazy mornings, unexpected adventures, and evenings when the sky just explodes with insane beauty is really just what takes your breath away and what makes everything totally worth it. If you liked coming along for this little camping adventure, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. If you've made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. I hope to catch you in the next vlog. Bye!